Earlier this week, I had an opportunity to meet with the Dreamers, a number of Dreamers who want to join the armed forces of the United States. There's a bill called the ENLIST Act, introduced by one of our Republican members, that essentially says that we're going to allow Dreamers to enlist, and through their service, they could establish their path to citizenship. Now, Mr. Speaker, that's an important bill for me because my father came from Denmark. He came here in 1934 at the age of 32. He served in the armed forces of the United States and became a citizen through his service during World War II in the armed forces of the United States. The sponsor of the ENLIST Act wanted to offer it to the defense authorization bill that we just passed. Last year, when the House considered the defense authorization bill, an amendment similar to the ENLIST Act was made in order. Unfortunately, it was not made in order this time, so we didn't get an opportunity to vote on that one way or the other. The Majority Leader knows, Mr. Speaker, that I've been asking in almost every colloquy when we are going to consider legislation that will deal with the broken immigration system that confronts us. This was one opportunity. It was again rejected, not missed, rejected. So many colleagues, Mr. Speaker, on the Republican side of the aisle, Mr. Schock, said we need a clear path to citizenship for workers who are already here. Adam Kinzinger said through common sense policies we have the opportunity to grow our economy and we must work hard to come to an agreement on how to bring undocumented workers out of the shadows. John Shimkus said we have to address the 12 million undocumented immigrants who are already here by moving them legally into the workforce. The Chamber of Commerce, AFL-CIO, growers, farm workers, faith groups across the spectrum, all urging us to pass immigration reform, and yet, frankly, we are not addressing it in any way, even on this, which I think surely we could have gotten a consensus on. The ENLIST Act was itself rejected. I would urge the Majority Leader, Mr. Speaker, to perhaps give us some sense beyond we don't trust the President. We know that hardly anybody on the other side of the aisle trusts the President. If the issue is simply trusting the President, let's shut down. Let's not do anything, which essentially is what we've done, as a matter of fact, as I say that. Let's not do anything. Let's not pass any laws. That's not what the American people expect, but that seems to be the premise. Now, presumably, we pass the Defense Authorization Act because we expect the President to pass it. But if we simply don't trust him, why pass a bill? That's not an excuse. That's not a reason. In fact, it's a derogation of our responsibility, Mr. Speaker. And I would hope that the Majority Leader could tell me when, if ever, we're going to address the broken system that he and I agree is a broken system. And I'll yield to my friend, the Majority Leader. Gentleman for his comments, but very frankly, we can't impose my way or the highway in this House. Mr. Speaker, as you well know, the Republicans are in the majority. We can't impose any way. We can simply ask for some way to be brought to the floor. It can be brought forth individually, the ENLIST Act. I would ask, Mr. Speaker, whether the Majority Leader believes the ENLIST Act is going to be brought to the floor. I would ask him whether any of the bills that are passed out of the Republican Judiciary Committee are going to be brought to the floor. They passed out over 6 months ago. A bill out of the Homeland Security Committee to deal with border security, passed out of the committee some 4+ months ago, has not been brought to this floor. So we're not looking for my way. We're looking for any way, some way. We're looking for a path, a way to get to addressing this issue. And there has been no way. He's correct. But it's not us who are imposing no way. It is the failure to bring a bill to the floor, Mr. Speaker, that we can consider, that in a transparent way the House can work its will, which of course was the commitment that Speaker Boehner made when he became the Speaker of this House. So that's the problem. Not what the President does, not what the Senate does, but what we are not doing on this House floor. And that is bringing options to the floor that we can vote up or down, and maybe we'll lose. There were 4 bills out of the Judiciary Committee that we didn't largely support. But the Republican leadership in the committee supported those bills. The majority of the Republicans supported those bills. They're not to the floor. So it's a question of not doing it your way. We're doing it no way. I continue to be frustrated when the majority leader, Mr. Speaker, responds to me that somehow they don't trust the President. Presumably, they trust their committee chairs. Presumably, you trust yourselves. And presumably, if you bring something to the floor, you trust that you will vote the way you believe, as we will do on this side of the aisle. And maybe some on our side of the aisle will agree with you, and maybe some on your side will agree with us. But if we don't bring it to the floor, it's no way. And we're not going to get much progress there.